Welcome to Practical Motorhome TV, your one-stop shop for buying, owning and getting the most from your motor caravan. Coming up, we have some cracking new van reviews, we visit some terrific sites and we have some friendly technical advice from our expert Diamond Dave.
The hugely popular range of Escape motorhomes received a vast number of modifications for the 2017 season. Out went the overcabs and the range was expanded to include 8 new low profiles. They remain for 2018 and they're being joined by the van you can see behind me. It's the 604, based on the 424 model from sister range Better Car. But that's not the only change for 2018. This year, all of Swift's motorhomes officially take on the brand's name. So where before this was just the Escape, it's now the Swift Escape. So let's take a look inside this, the all-new Swift Escape 604. This year, as last year, the Escape continues to be based on the Fiat Ducato, featuring a 2.3 litre Euro 6 engine. That means that you continue to get the benefits of the Ducato cab. This year, featuring this great-looking DAB radio and these handy cup holders with space for your tablet computer. Both of the cab seats swivel, making a great place to sit in the evening. It's an ideal spot to sit and read, thanks to the large roof light up above, part of the comfort pack, and these 2 swan neck reading lights. The seats are also a really great place to sit and watch the television if it's in its dedicated spot. There's a bracket up there and all the connections that you'll need. The lounge is big enough to seat up to 7 adults and they can dine here as well. The base of the table is formed from a single leg. Just add the top on, which is absolutely enormous, and if that's still not big enough, there's an extension you can put on the side too to reach the other sofa. This is a 4-berth motorhome. There are 4 belted seats as well, including this pair at the rear, but we think that this van is most likely to prove popular with couples who appreciate the practicality and convenience of the fixed bed that drops down over the lounge. All you have to do is press this button and pull it down to the height that you want it. On top, you can see the ladder to help you access it too. The mattress in the drop-down bed is a Duvalite model, which is exclusive to Swift and really comfortable. This is a nice bright space to spend time as well, thanks to the roof light overhead. The other 2 berths are made up using the cushions from the seats in the lounge. The compact dimensions of motorhomes such as this usually mean that you'll find some sort of compromise in terms of space. In the 604's case, it's in the kitchen. There's not a huge amount of work surface available, but there are some neat touches to increase what is there, such as this handy flap which lifts up. Another popular and handy solution is this inset chopping board which sits inside the sink. We also really like this shelf up above. You can sit your phone here while you charge it thanks to the 2 plugs. The spec in here is really high and includes a fitted microwave as standard, a 3-burner gas hob and a combined Thetford oven and grill. And lastly, the all-important storage. There's plenty of it, such as this massive cupboard and this handy little cutlery drawer. Opposite the kitchen, on the off side of the motorhome, is this large 138 litre slimline Dometic fridge. You certainly shouldn't have any problem fitting your groceries in there. Nor should you have any problems fitting in all your clothes, thanks to this enormous wardrobe which sits to the right of the fridge. In the back there, you can see the sockets for the TV aerial. And you should be able to store plenty of kit as well. The payload for last year's Better Car 424 model, on which this is based, was around 500 kilograms, and we'd expect this one to be about the same. There's plenty of opportunity for you to use your payload in here as well, thanks to the 3 large cupboards. And check this out. This is a compact motorhome, but it's got a fully lined separate shower cubicle, complete with Eco Camel shower head and this fantastic panel at the back which is illuminated. Finally in the washroom is this Thetford electric flush swivel bowl unit. We think that Escape fans are really going to like this new floor plan. The 604 may be the smallest van in the lineup, but it manages to combine comfort and practicality in a really compact package. It's well equipped and is likely to be very well priced too. In other words, we think it's going to be another great addition to the Swift Escape range.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Diamond Dave's Workshop. Today we're going to look at emissions control systems. What do we mean by emissions? Well, it's exhaust emissions. Nitrogen oxides, soot from diesel engines, it's all harmful to us, gets in our lungs, and it causes problems. So we need to do something to combat those factors. This is an EGR valve. This device sits typically at the back of an engine, and when the ECU tells it to, it will open and pass some exhaust gas back through into the inlet of the engine to cool the combustion temperatures. What that does is reduce the nitrogen oxide production from the engine. So it's quite an important device. It's not a perfect technology, but it does work. Problems with these, they can get sooted up because obviously they're dealing with exhaust gases which contain soot and carbon. They can get sooted up and block, and it can either hold the valve open, in which case it will circulate too much exhaust gas, or it can trap shut and then it won't work at all. So it's a pretty important piece of kit in terms of emissions control systems. Soot is another big factor from diesel engines. They produce soot it's just carbon, but it's not good for us. It gets airborne, we breathe it in. So the DPF has been invented. Now the DPF is a diesel particulate filter. It traps the diesel particulates, the carbon, the soot. This sits in the exhaust system. When the engine's running, any soot that's produced will be trapped in this honeycomb in the centre. Now, obviously, you can't continually trap soot forever because that will become clogged. So what it does, periodically, it has to, what we call, regenerate. Now, it does that by getting it very hot. Typically, out on the motorway journeys, the idea is that these trap the soot in towns, and then when you're out on the motorway and travelling at higher speed, this will get hot enough to burn the soot, turn it to ash, which is then blown out of the exhaust on the side of the motorway. If a diesel vehicle is doing mostly town work or short journeys, the DPF can get clogged up and won't get the chance to regenerate on its own. They can be force regenerated. You take it to a garage, they can plug in a diagnostic computer to the car or van, and that will force this to regenerate by running the engine at high speed for a period of time. Some systems use a product called AdBlue, which is a urea-based product that can be injected into the exhaust, which will help to light the DPF off and make it burn the soot. If they get blocked too frequently, then they're dead. This is a dead one, that's why I've got it here. It's absolutely choked solid. We should be able to see through that, but there is not a scrap of light visible through it. So that's had to be replaced. This is another DPF off another vehicle, and this one's been bodged. Because it got clogged up, somebody has cut a hole in the bottom end of it and smashed the centre out so that it allows gas to pass through. It renders it obsolete as a diesel particulate filter. It can't trap anything because all of the exhaust gas and soot can pass straight through. So it's not really a good idea to do that. The way the system knows when it needs to regenerate is it uses two of these. This is a pressure sensor, one before and one after the DPF. If the DPF is blocked with soot, then the pressure going into it will be a much higher level than the pressure on the outlet of it. The ECU will see that pressure difference and decide that the DPF's blocked and needs to regenerate. So that's the basics of emissions control systems. It's not a perfect technology, but it does work at the moment. We'll see how we go on in the future. Hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you next time.
Adding an awning to your array of touring accessories allows you to increase the living space of your van, as well as providing an area for keeping outdoor kits safe from the elements. But there have been major strides in awning development in recent years, so we sent Peter Baber to find out more.
Whoever described awnings as a divorce in a bag was probably onto something, if you've ever seen people try to put one up on your average caravan park. But actually, there are huge advantages in having one. They can hugely increase the space in your caravan or motorhome without you having to trade up a model. They don't necessarily have to be very heavy, because a lot of them now come with air awnings, which is an inflatable awning, and even the ones that still have poles, the poles tend to be materials like carbon fibre, which is very lightweight. They can be expensive, some cost as much as £2,000, but you could also get ones for as little as £200. So what's really good about awnings? Well, I'm no expert, but I'm here with somebody who is. Andy Harding, the manager of Sell at Leisure. So Andy, what's new in the world of awnings?
Current trend is definitely moving towards the air awning. It opens up awning ownership and usage to a lot of people that probably would have been put off just for the convenience of using them. They have their place in the market as an easy, more convenient way for short breaks and holidays. That still doesn't rule out poled awnings, which you probably use if you are possibly going to go for a bit longer time, or if you're looking at seasonal pitch, where again you go for thicker material and probably a larger pole. It's more rigid and it can cope with a longer length for the weather conditions.
Is there anything else that people should consider when they're buying an awning?
Really is what your needs are. So break it right the way down for if you're going to be using it for weekends, if you're going to be using it for seasonal or holiday use, which will narrow down a lot of the market anyway. And then it's what you're willing to put up with as far as longevity of putting it up and complications. You can make your life easier with pole awnings, for instance, by laying them out, getting the instructions out, zip all the panels out of the awning, put the roof of the panel up first, and then start building the frame inside from the instructions. And again, with the air awning, if you lay it out first, you can get a fair idea of where all the valves are before you start pulling it through the awning rail.
Thanks very much, Andy.
No problem at all.
Well, that's easy enough for you to say, Andy, but just how simple is it to put one of these awnings together? Thankfully, we have expert Adam Hughes on hand to take us through the Suncamp Silhouette Motor Air 250 Grande. Now, the first thing to note is that the whole thing packs into this compact bag, and it's also relatively lightweight at 17 kilograms. Now, the air in the name indicates that it's inflatable, and the Grande means that it's the big brother of the standard Silhouette. Everything you need to put the awning up is already in the bag, including this dual-action pump. The first job is to open out the whole awning and locate the valves to inflate the main frame. Firstly, connect the valves into place ready for pumping. Generally, you'd pump up the two tubes independently, but this particular model has the optional extra attached, which connects those two tubes, so you'll only need to inflate them from the one spot. At this stage, you just need to get it into a basic shape, which takes about 30 pumps. And then locate the beading that fits into the canopy of our two-lay awning. Bring the canopy down to a workable height and thread the beading into the channel, making sure you have the right size, as there are two sizes of beading on this canopy. Wind the canopy back in, pulling the structure towards the van. And now for the pegging. And the best place to start, according to Adam, is by pulling the awning tight just underneath the van, so the material forms a seal along the side of the van. Now, unfortunately for us, the couriers delivered the wrong height awning for our Sprite, but Adam still made it work, thanks to a short piece of rope. Do the same on the opposite side and then move the awning into place, pulling the corners tight and pegging down the outside corners, and then continue with the other pegs. So now you have the base of the awning secured, complete with its integrated ground sheet, and it's now time to fix the canopy poles, which provide an overhang to the awning's window. These allow ventilation in, something that is extremely important with an awning. Simply thread the poles through the canopy and push through to the end stops. Then do the same for the other canopies. Now it's time to fully inflate the awning. On the pump there's a dump valve set at 7 psi, which means you can never overinflate the tubes. When done, just pull out the pump and screw the cap back on. The tubes are actually tested to 20 psi, so even with expansion due to heat, you should still be good to go. And lastly, it's time to put the guidelines in, and the job is nearly done. The very last thing to do is to pull the skirt of the awning out over the ground sheet pegs and hammer home. This awning has a fully tubbed ground sheet, which means you can peg it up. But to avoid a trip hazard, you can also peg the ground sheet down, so that you can step into the awning without fear of tripping. As this is a driveway awning designed for motorhomes, there is a back door as well as a front door, so you can detach the awning from your van and leave it in situ to guard your pitch while you take your motorhome out for the day.
South Wales Touring Park is a small, adults-only site, ideally located just a mile off the M4 in mid-South Wales. And even on a cloudy day like today, the views are absolutely spectacular. Also known as Llwynifan Farm and South Wales Caravan Park, the park won the Best Small Site Award in our 2015 Top 100 Sites Guide, and keeps its place in the poll for 2017. Its key features are the fact that it's small, with just 25 pitches in total, which means it offers a very personal service, and it's part of the Tranquil Park scheme, so no screaming children or bikes with stabilisers to contend with. It also helps if your host is as house-proud as Highwell, the site owner.
Before everybody turns up, I first of all rake all the pitches so all the stones go the same way. Cut the grass around and make sure that everything's nice so it looks as if nobody's been on the pitch before you. And then we give everybody a welcome pack. So in the welcome pack you have Welsh tea and Welsh coffee. If people stay for more than 7 nights they have a Welsh chocolate caravan. And in the welcome pack then you have local information. So a little bit about the park itself, where the nearest taps are, fire extinguishers and so forth. And also then we have information about where the local pub is, local vets, local shops. Also then we have information about the walks in the area. And it's just a nice little pack to introduce you to the area.
As well as ours, the park has won a whole clutch of awards for its services and facilities. And its location in the middle of South Wales means that the site is a great place to stay when exploring the unspoilt beaches and countryside around Swansea and Carmarthenshire. And if you're relying on public transport, there are 2 bus stops close to the entrance that take you into Llanelli or Swansea, where you'll find shopping, culture and history. But you don't have to go off-site if it's scenery and peace and quiet you're after.
Oh, it's
just so quiet, isn't it?
It's fabulous. It's tranquil. It's advertised as tranquil, and it really, really is. No kids. Dogs friendly, which means our little rescues can enjoy themselves. Yeah. They've got an enclosed area down there. They've got the paddock there they can enjoy in. Look over there. Look at the
beautiful
coastline.
Views.
Look at the views. They've got the cleanest. I will swear they've got CCTV in the shower block.
Yeah, they have.
Because the minute you come out, they're there clearing up after you.
are.
I've never seen anywhere like it.
And we can confirm that the bathrooms are absolutely spotless, with separate blocks for toilets and showers. They even have their own embroidered hand towels. Plus there's a washer and dryer on site too. All 15 touring pitches are hard standing and of a good size, with 5 standard pitches offering 10 amp electric hookup and 10 serviced pitches with electric, mains water and grey waste disposal. All service pitches have a picnic bench and a nightlight, and thanks to the clever raking of the site, disguised by attractive flower beds, each pitch has an uninterrupted view over the top of the other vans. There's no shop, but the small reception carries a basic supply of essentials if you forget tea bags, coffee, chocolate or loo roll. Other touches that set this site apart include the possibility to hire a car and to have it delivered directly to your pitch, a visiting alternative therapist offering head massages and reflexology, as well as a dog sitting service so that you can enjoy a day out and leave your pet in good company.
Well,
Lovely.
I think it's a
Lovely.
lovely little site. It's pleasant, it's quiet, which is what we're really looking for, and no kids running around. Quite a lot of dogs.
It has the feel of a nice, clean, tidy little site, beautifully looked after.
We definitely recommend this place, wouldn't we?
Oh.
It's mainly because, well, there just isn't, there's plenty to do here. I can't see what anybody wouldn't like about it. It's got everything that anybody would want. Even if you're not dog friendly, it's still got loads of places you can go to. I just can't. Over the years, we've been touring everywhere, and this by far is the one we come to. We keep coming back.
So that's it. That's all we've got time for this week. But we'll be back again soon with some cracking van and site reviews and friendly technical advice from our expert Diamond Dave. In the meantime, you can keep in touch with us via our website, Facebook or Twitter. Until next time then, tour safe and take care.